episode 587 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering. Whether you are excited about the Pro Tour or you're like, what? That's happening? We are here for you.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And like Megan said, in fact, there is a Pro Tour coming up
this weekend.
And we're going to get you ready to watch it. So when you tune in at twitch.tv/magic, you're not like, what are these cards? Who are these people? What is this format? Who are these decks? When am I?
Who am I? What is this thing in front of me that I'm watching on? What is this device that I use to manipulate the screen?
I'm a simple caveman.
Clickety-clackety keys.
You may have found yourself out of time. So we'll help you.
Do not worry. If you did, we're here for you.
We're going to let you know about the top decks and standard heading into this tournament, how the pros are going to approach a draft when they get in there with Outlaws of Thunder Junction draft, which is a really super sweet format.
It's been a ton of fun.
It's really good. Another Dave Humphreys knockout of the park. He designed that set, and he always designs great sets. So we're going to talk to you about that as well and get you ready for the Pro Tour in Seattle, which is bound to be a good time.
Yes. And if you're like, hey, I don't care about the Pro Tour, well, we are just going to talk about draft, and we're going to talk about standards.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. We're also going to digress, I assume.
Yeah. It's going to be a real miracle if we don't.
It always happens to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to us this week. We're so happy that we can come out of your cat's mouths and into your ears every single week. And we want to say thank you to the people who make your cats able to broadcast our show every week.
Yes.
By becoming patrons over on patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
Yes. Thank you so much to all of our patrons, and especially to our new patrons. Thank you to new patron Bogart Auntie.
Yay! Bogart Auntie!
Bogart?
How is it spelled?
Boggart. How do you say that word? Bogart.
I would say Bogart. Yeah, like it's a kind of creature.
Yes. Bogart Auntie, you go get yourself some yogurt.
Don't Bogart the Patreon subscription from us. You didn't. You did it.
You didn't. You contributed in a normal way.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Go. You're not a Patreon Bogart, but you could be a yogurt Bogart if you wanted to.
That's so true.
Because you're so nice.
I'm just seeing
give you
how many
leniency.
Bogarts are in Magic because now I'm interested. Oh gosh, I don't. Am I spelling it wrong? Bogart.
Okay, hold on.
It's a creature type, right?
Yes. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, like a
Boggart.
Boggart. Sounds even more like yogurt, honestly.
Boggart? Yogurt?
Like, right? Isn't there like from Lorwyn that's a creature?
Oh yeah.
Right? But I'm like not finding it when I type it in. Have I?
Oh no, look, it's not a creature type.
Oh,
they're goblins.
Oh, I see.
But they're called boggarts.
Okay.
Boggart. Which Maria thinks sounds like yogurt, which really disturbs me.
I just want some yogurt.
I'm not okay with that.
I mean,
Boggart.
Some of these are really cute, like Boggart Harbinger. Like, look at that guy. What
he's
a cutie.
Wonky little fellow.
Little cutie.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad we have goblins supporting our podcast because, quite frankly, I think that's our target audience.
Yeah.
We have goblin energy on this show.
We really do.
So thank
Can't
you,
help it.
Boggart Auntie, for supplying the goblin energy from the other side of the airwaves.
Yeah.
If you want to become a patron, it's super easy and fun. It takes like 2 minutes. You get access to our sweet Discord server. You get to see and hear episodes early. You get ad-free episodes as well, which is very, very cool. You get to support the content that you know and love from people that you hopefully kind of know and kind of love. I'm not shooting too high.
That you are acquainted with and enjoy.
I'm not going to go too far on this one. Kind of, I will take it.
Know and love, don't need it.
Kind of
enjoy.
Absolutely.
Wait, kind of know, kind of enjoy. All right. That sounds like us.
Oh my gosh. Your funds, your hard-earned cash also goes to support not only this show, but our sister show Commander Arcade, which is where we gather and play games of Commander.
Oh, and there is a great one out this week, y'all. It is so good.
To see it. If you haven't seen it already,
it is so cute.
Go watch it. It's the cutest thing you'll ever witness.
And you know, like, mistakes were made.
Well, yeah, that's
all I
true.
can say. Whoops.
We play with our newfound friends from Quest for the Jank Lord. Which,
yes.
If you haven't
which truly, I have to say, how are we not friends with them before?
I honestly don't know.
It's kind of frightening the
is.
extent to which we are obvious friend material.
Yeah, it's just like kind of weird. Like this. Okay, everybody, here's the fun story. So they Quest for the Jank Lord. If you don't know them, they're another sweet YouTube channel where a demon has cursed them to play janky commander decks and sometimes Judge's Tower a lot in this cave. And they actually filmed their show one building over from where
they're
we
like a
filmed
block
this show.
down. We can walk to their studio.
Yes, and we didn't know them.
No.
And then somebody was like, you should know them. And we were like, well, okay, let's go know them. And then we met them.
And we're like,
this makes sense.
You mean we haven't been friends for the last decade?
I know.
Weird.
It's so strange. It's just brilliant to celebrate those times in your life when you come across friends you didn't know you already had somehow. So go check it out. It's a super fun episode. We play jank decks. No card over 79 cents is allowed.
Yeah.
And that means you have to play some real pieces of poo-poo.
Real bad cards.
But that's what's fun about it too. So check it out at youtube.com/@GLHF Commander. Go hit that sub button, ring the bell for notifications. We'd love to see you over there. And thanks for watching if you already did and leaving a comment. Thanks to Card Kingdom as well. Before we get the show rolling, you can check them out at cardkingdom.com/GLHF.
Yes, the place to go for all of your card needs. Do you want to build a commander deck that costs you less than $50?
Absolutely, I do.
You can build a jank deck, and you can order those cards from Card Kingdom.
I gotta say, I might be on the jank train.
It was very fun.
It was so fun, and then you go to order them, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. You're like, I spent $43 on mine.
This is $15.
Yes, exactly.
Thumbs up.
All right.
Card Kingdom will help you build that jank deck.
And honestly, it was only that much money because I didn't have my draft shaft organized enough to find the cards that I obviously already had. Because a lot of them you're just like,
you have it somewhere.
I drafted that common.
Back 5 years ago.
5 years ago, I drafted that common.
Yeah, for sure. Card Kingdom will ship you whatever you want to buy for your janky masterpiece in one order. It's really easy, one and done. You can buy Thunder Junction there right now. It's available.
You could buy a janky commander, but then buy really nice lands for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Did I do that? Not gonna say yes or no.
You gotta watch the video. We love Card Kingdom. They're great. Go check them out for all the needs in your magical life. cardkingdom.com/GLHF. It's time for the randomizer, where we go to scryfall.com, hit the random card button, and try and guess what the card does based on the art alone. Today, I was shocked by this art that I'm going to show Megan.
Do you know what? I love this.
It's very cool.
Okay, what we're seeing is like there's like a very severe foreground background in this.
Yeah.
Like the right side is very close up foreground on a person with like a very white beard playing a very elaborate little flute.
It's very well
and they
carved.
have like a little like like leaf. They're like wearing a classic, what I would call like a classic like druid or ranger kind of outfit.
Yeah,
It's like leaves and leather, right? Leaves and leather. The druid way.
The new album from Taylor Swift.
Oh my God. Leaves and leather is absolutely an album name.
Maybe more Casey Musgraves, honestly.
Oh my God. Okay. The new Casey Musgraves Leaves and leather.
Yep.
All right. I've
already ordered it.
And in the background, there's like a forest, and there's just all these little pinprick eyes.
They watch.
Staring out of the dark. And I feel like this flute player is probably calling them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call this card. I'm going to say that this one is like Piper of the Wilds.
Oh, that's a great name.
Piper of the Wilds. It does look like a slightly like older art, so I'm gonna make this card worse.
Okay.
It's gonna be 2 and a green for a 1/1. You can pay 4 green and tap it to search your deck for a creature card with a mana value 6 or less and put it onto the battlefield.
To pipe.
You must pipe. Although yeah, they feel like small creatures, but that's what I'm going with anyways.
It's very, very close. The name of this card, this is from Urza's Saga, is Sentinel Flute.
All right.
I don't know how to say that. It costs 5 for an artifact. It was a rare. X tap, search your library for a creature card with mana value X or less, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle.
Oh my goodness.
So you almost got it, almost exactly. You just put it on a creature.
I just put it on a creature.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
I
like,
feel very good about what I did here.
yeah, this art, great job to the artist, illustrated by Barry, for like 100% capturing what is occurring.
It's really good.
In this card's mechanics as well. That flute is sick. It's like a bunch of animal heads that have been carved out of this flute. Yeah. This is a cool card.
It's very, very good.
Also printed in 10th edition.
All right. You know what? I feel, like I said, I feel honestly very good about what happened because I nailed that mechanic.
That was like, that's like an 8 out of 10 right there.
All right, Maria. I would be like, are you ready? But you cannot
I can't be ready.
You cannot be.
Well,
all right, process this.
Well, okay. Process is the right word because what is happening? I'm looking at a cacophony of images. This is very metal. This is like in a 9th grade. You would have seen your friend in the year. When was I in 9th grade? I'm not going to tell you. It's a secret. But it might have been in the 90s. What's happening is your friend in 9th grade has drawn this on their notebook, and they're like, "Yeah, man," and they're like really good. And you're like, "Holy cow! How'd you draw that?" It's metal. There's a bunch of like weird metal. Large bugs, centipedes, situations, they attack. They're attacking with like rays of light and energy across a pink sky background. And there's some guy that's caught up in this.
Yeah. And also, I just want to point out this one. This is like a leaping lion bug just kind of up here in the corner.
Bunch of bugs attack. One guy's wearing a metal chastity belt, and he's like,
"That's what it is."
He's punching himself in the face.
He is.
I don't know why. Probably because this bug is attacking him. Like it looks like Darth Vader's helmet is attacking him from behind.
Yes, if Darth Vader's helmet was
alive
bug,
and a bug,
it would be attacking this man.
It's happening in a desert. It's bad news.
It is. Yeah, this person is obviously having a very bad time.
I'm gonna want to go on a limb here. This card is white.
Wow. Bold.
There is no way you can judge from this art the color of this card.
Yeah, I will say it is literally
impossible.
Every color of the rainbow, like not just every color, but every shade of every color across the entire spectrum of color is in this piece of art.
This card is called Centipede Christmas.
Wow. All right. Yeah. Okay.
They're having a great time. And what's going on? This is a white card. It's some kind of damage situation. You make a bunch of bug. It costs 6 mana, 5 and a white. You make like 3 1/1 white. Like, is it Phyrexian? Are they Phyrexian?
I literally cannot tell.
I feel like they're not because they're too metallic and they're not like weirdly fleshy enough to be a Phyrexian. And you make 3 little Phyrexian bugs, and they do damage in toxic or in poison counters, as it would have been at the time of this card. Something else has to happen, but I don't know what. And also they get 3 poison. We'll put that on there.
All right. Well, this is actually I think that this is very wisely named Confusion in the Ranks. Do you know what? Actually, now that we have named the card, this artist, Ron Spencer, captured it.
He sure did.
There is confusion in these ranks.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
That's why that man is punching himself.
Oh,
all right.
Okay.
Whenever an artifact, creature, or enchantment comes into play, its controller chooses target permanent another player controls that shares a type with it. Exchange control of those permanents.
Wow.
So every time you play something, then you are like, actually, but swapsies with your thing.
Oh, I like that.
Great.
That's cool.
Really into it.
This is from Mirrodin, so that makes sense about the metallic looking.
Oh yeah, the little bugs. Yeah, that is Mirrodin. Only printed once for some reason.
I love this card.
I kind of want to build this. Like,
this is a commander.
This in a commander deck.
Yeah, like
you
swapsies.
You just play terrible, like
awful stuff.
Terrible permanents.
When you give it to someone, will do something bad to them.
Yes. Oh man.
You know what I mean?
I was going to say these days we have like, there was already like the deck to be like swapsies my thing with your thing.
You mean like cat?
Cat packed.
Cat packed? Yeah.
So anyways, I am very into it.
That's cool. Big thumbs up for both of these cards today on the randomizer.
This is just so funny to me. Do you know what? Like it looks like you're like, what is this art capturing? But do you know what? It is capturing confusion in the ranks. It's doing a really good job of it.
It's time for Pro Tour Outlaws of Thunder Junction, y'all.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready. We're recording this episode before we leave because that's how time works. To go to the Pro Tour. It's out in Seattle.
That's how time works. Actually, I don't want to say how time works.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because
we don't actually
frequently
know.
feel as though I do not understand.
It's a mystery to us all. Reality is certainly not what we think it is.
Yeah.
So
How many times in your life, here comes one of those segues.
here we go.
How many times in your life do you feel like you've experienced deja vu?
Oh my God. 1,000?
Right? It's so many.
It happened literally this morning.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, this has happened. But it felt like it hadn't happened that long ago. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like, and also I feel like my rate of it has increased.
We're getting closer to the singularity.
That's what I'm just saying. I feel like my rate of deja vu has increased. And it's just so uncanny, right? It has to mean something.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
okay. What if everybody on Earth starts tracking your vus? Okay, so like you,
Everyone start tracking your deja vu.
start tracking it, and if we notice a trend upward, well, what does that mean? Something maybe.
All right, I'm
So
into it.
I'm marking one today. One vu happened for me today.
Yeah.
We'll see if we'll get another one tomorrow. Anyway.
All right.
Everyone track.
Great.
So yeah, Pro Tour is happening. It's not attached to a Magic Con.
No.
Like they have been for the past since we started doing this again.
What a marker of time.
So this is the first non-Magic Con Pro Tour in quite a long time.
Yeah.
Which means it's just going to be us hanging out with about 270. It's a small Pro Tour, small field.
Yeah.
Just happened to be how it shook out this time around. Players in one building.
Yeah.
In an enclosed space, and nobody can leave until somebody wins. They don't let us leave.
It's a real Thunderdome style situation.
Yeah, we're gonna be there. It's gonna be exciting.
Tina Turner's going to be there. I wish.
Oh man, can you imagine? Once
No.
I saw Tina Turner on a rooftop in New York.
Yeah.
And she kicked her leg, and because she was doing like a advertisement for legs nylons.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
I was just there like as a tourist, and I looked over. I'm like, oh, check it out. Tina Turner's up there kicking her legs on top of that building.
Great.
And they were the kind of, it was like legs, and you got them. Oh my God. Do you remember this? They were in a little egg.
No.
They were nylons that, I shouldn't even call them nylons, hose. They were in a little egg, and you opened it up, and it was legs, and it was spelled Leggs, like an egg.
Okay, I do remember that.
That's, now that I'm saying it, that is a bonkers marketing technique. Who thought of that? Like, oh, I know what I'm going to do with our nylon hose situation.
I kind of love it because it's easier to put in like a purse.
Put it in, well, because they probably ripped all the time.
Yes,
Yeah.
right? You're like, oh, do you know what? Here's your little like hose.
Yep.
Carry
in a little egg.
Carry extra hose in this egg.
Smart.
Legs.
When I was little, because that's when my mom would dress me sometimes and put me in that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And when I came home at the end of the day, you should have seen them. They were like
Oh my
torn to
gosh, I can't even
pieces,
imagine.
like hanging by a thread. Anyway, bizarre marketing things that just like, do legs still
Yeah.
exist? I'm gonna do. I'm gonna Google do
legs still exist? We get
pantyhose.
into
That's
it.
the word I was looking for.
We'll get into it on today's episode of Good Luck High Five.
I think can you still get them? I don't think you can.
Wow.
I think maybe they went, oh, somebody else is asking this. Oh, okay. As of 2022, January 11th, they are still being sold.
Oh, all right.
They changed the packaging.
Wow. They gave up. They gave up their thing.
They gave up the egg.
Ridiculous.
Anyway, I know
Should've kept it.
that our demographic, this I think hits really well with where we're trying to go.
Absolutely.
Pro Tour.
YouTube tells us that definitely the majority of our listenership is interested
About
in
pantyhose.
is interested in pantyhose and remember growing up wearing
Yes.
them.
We're playing draft. We're playing standard at this Pro Tour.
Yes.
And we're kicking it off with draft Friday morning. So let's talk about draft.
All right, Maria.
Yes.
Outlaws of Thunder Junction draft has been pretty banger, I think.
It's a true banger.
It's like, ooh, it's pretty good.
It's really, really fun.
When I realized it, okay, So I like one of
Where were you when you realized?
Where were you when you realized Thunder Junction Draft was a banger? I was sitting at home on Arena.
Yeah.
And I had like
Checks
so
out.
I had drafted like my first. I don't remember my very first draft deck, but my second one was like a black red, and it was like a 7-0. It was so good.
Ooh, nice.
Maybe a 7-1. It was so freaking clean.
Yeah.
And then my next one was blue green, which Simic has notably struggled in recent draft
sure
formats.
Has, absolutely.
But I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna try it. I had, by the way, Doc Arlock is busted.
The good doctor.
This card is. I can't even begin to tell you how busted that card is.
How do you spell
AUR?
Oh, Arlock. Okay. Doc Arlock.
Yes, this is green blue for a 2/3 legendary creature, Bear Druid. Spells you cast from your graveyard or from exile cost 2 less to cast, which is, in other formats important. But here's for Thunder Junction. Plotting cards from your hand costs 2 less.
That reduction is huge.
That is an absurd reduction. And so that I drafted a plot deck.
Oh, nice.
And I ended up going, I want to say just like 4-3 or something.
Yeah.
But 2 of those losses were just 100% mistakes I made.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which to me, it was like,
that's where you want to be.
Yes. I didn't feel like, I drafted a 4-3 deck and then it went 4-3. It was like, I drafted a deck that had the potential to probably get 7 wins.
Yes.
It didn't because I made play mistakes.
Right.
But also that deck was so good because plot was good.
I mean, the thing with plot, which I talked about, feels like cheating. Double cheating if you have Doc Arlock.
Look, this card wheeled in the draft pod I was in.
Unreal.
And I hadn't taken it the first time because it was not like I'd taken a rare of a different color.
Yeah.
But by the time it came around, I was like, obviously blue green is open, so I was in it. And I was like, if you get past that card, just take it.
I mean, the thing is, plot is expensive generally. It's like about 4 or 5 mana, and taking 4 or 5 mana off for a turn can be a little rough.
Yes.
So this discounting it down to 2
on turn 4, you can plot 2 things.
Yeah, that's
and 2 good things. I plotted like the 3/3 that gets 2+1/+1 counters if you cast it from exile,
so we have
or
5/5.
if you didn't spend mana, and a loan shark.
Oh yeah,
right. And you're just like,
okay,
well, this feels busted.
Try and beat me
so
now.
Like literally next turn, I get to play a 5/5 and a 3/4 and draw a card. I'm sorry, what?
Absolutely.
And then plot something else because I still actually have 5 mana this turn.
I agree. I think this card is great. And Simic, speaking of colors, let's take a peek at how our colors are doing.
Yes, over on 17
overall.
lands.
I think we're all in favor of this format. I think it's really fun. You should all check it out if you haven't.
It's a good time.
And the numbers kind of support that as well. We don't have any deck that is winning at above a 60% win rate, which is crucial in a format because that's where we see things start to kind of get out of whack. The number 1 color combination in 2 colors, and by the way, in this format, you're often playing 3 colors, or 4 or 5 even. But anyway, we'll stick with 2 colors. It's Celestia, green-white at a 59.6% win percentage.
Ooh, I just drafted my first mounts deck.
Oh, nice.
Which I'm very excited to. I haven't played much with it yet.
Oh, that's have mounts will travel.
Yep. Which, okay, spicy take on this mounts deck.
Yeah.
Because people in our Discord become a patron, join our Discord.
It's fun.
Anyways, we're like, it's really hard sometimes to put like 4 power into one creature just to have it attack and something bad happen with it. In my opinion, the mounts deck is not about saddling mounts or anything like that.
Oh.
It is for right. There's some cards like Giant Beaver that are like you're getting the best bang for your buck.
Yep.
You heard what I said. if you're saddling it, but there's plenty of it. Like I think that really it's about the cards that give a bonus. There's like the 3/2 Miriam Herd Whisperer or something like that.
Sure.
Green white for a 3/2 on your turn. Mounts and vehicles you control have hexproof, and you put a like whenever a mount or vehicle you control attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Yeah.
And then there's the 2/1 for 1 and a white. When it enters the battlefield, you look at the top like 6 cards or something. You can put a plains or a mount into your hand.
Nice.
So in my opinion, mounts are largely about incremental value like that.
I see what you're saying.
So like I think that you can build a mounts deck that only honestly saddles sometimes, right? There's like the Griffin, which you do really want to saddle, the green-white Griffin.
Yeah.
There's like a couple like the Bighorn sheep that you really want to saddle, but there's also plenty of stuff that you like are fine not saddling and you're just doing it for the value.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, anyway, so that was my 2 cents on mounts.
Celestia, great color combo, 59.6. Followed up very closely by 2 colors, which are essentially tied, which is Golgari black-green at 57.6 and Orzhov white-black at 57.4.
Yeah.
I think green's very strong in this format, and that will be played out, when we talk about the best commons.
Yep.
And Golgari there supporting that with green in its color. And Simic is 55. Simic's not next, so I won't say it next. Next is actually Gruul. There's green.
More green.
56.2. After that, we have Boros, 55.6, which is just a nice little aggressive deck that I have been aggroed out of the game by.
Yeah.
Followed up by who's after that. Then we get to Simic at green-blue, supported by those awesome green cards.
Yeah. 54.5.
Dimir, blue-black at 53.7. Rakdos, almost right up there as well. That's black-red at 53.5. And then is Azorius, 52.2. That's blue-white. And at the bottom of the pile is It blue-red at 50.6.
Yeah. Is it struggling a little, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've played against really almost any Is It decks.
I don't think I have either.
So I don't, Interesting to see if people are going to feel like that there's something in that archetype to be figured out, or if it's just like, maybe that one's just an archetype that's like, meh.
Yeah, I think this is great. I think all of these seem pretty good with the exception of Is It.
Yeah.
I would be happy to be in any of these colors and be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But Is It?
Give it a try.
Who knows? I mean, I've definitely seen people win with it, so I know you can, but...
I'm just also so excited about drafting so many of the archetypes in this, right? Like I said.
Yeah.
So like...
Love an archetype.
Yeah. I already drafted Rakdos, which was like very outlaw. It was like crimes and outlaws.
Great.
Which make a lot of sense.
Hand in hand.
I had that enchantment that like makes a mercenary, but then also when an outlaw you control dies, you gain one, they drain one. So good.
I had people stack that card on me.
Oh my goodness. I also had the red spree card that like you can deal 2 damage to all outlaws, non-outlaws, or both.
Yeah.
I once just cast that on outlaws to kill I had 6 mercenaries and drain them for the rest. They were at 4 and I was like, we're just do you know what? If we kill all my creatures, you just die.
That's very funny. I love that. The archetypes have been great.
Yeah.
I want to do outlaws. I want to crime all the time.
Exactly. I really want to try, I have not yet figured out the white-blue, only not casting anything on your turn from your hand.
Yes.
It's a mixture of plot and flash.
Yes.
I really want to.
That one seems sweet.
I feel you get the little prairie dog who's so cute.
Love that prairie dog.
You get Gem Lightfoot. I feel that's one that's high on my list.
Man,
I really wanted to try mounts.
Gem Lightfoot, her 80s band.
It's very
so
yes. Good. Gem Lightfoot and the Mercenaries. So good.
Make that concert poster, someone.
All right. So anyways, I'm just so excited to draft these, right? I've gotten to draft the plot deck now. I've gotten to draft the mount deck, but there's still so many more. Very excited about it.
I think a lot of people are saying, normally in a set that has a bonus sheet, like we do with this one, including cards like Villainous Wealth, for example, they're like, I don't like that. Makes things too random or whatever. I disagree. But I think they like that in this set. Mm-hmm. Somehow everything works well together. For example, I drafted a Villainous Wealth deck the other day.
Yeah.
Because I was jealous because I saw LSV had done it. And I was like, I'm going to do it and take all their cards from the top of their library and play them. And I ended up playing it for X=4 and hitting 4 lands.
You win some, you lose some. You spell some, you land some.
So true. But it brings me to a point I wanted to make in that I feel like because of the bonus sheet, the way this format is constructed, we looked at the previews and we said, hey, these cards seem really strong across the board. Yeah. Is that the average deck is better than the average deck? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, the average deck is better than the average deck.
Thank you. Yeah. I think overall power level of decks in this format is high.
Yes.
And I think that means something when we're drafting.
Yeah.
What I think it means is we have to put less emphasis on just making a solid on mana curve, use your mana every turn type of deck, and instead think about the question of how do I play most beneficially to benefit myself 3 turns from now?
Yeah.
And get ahead that way.
Which is different from some recent formats for sure.
Yes, it is.
A lot of recent formats have been very in the now.
Yeah.
Very now
living in the moment.
Very living in the moment.
I just want you to think about that when you're playing your draft games. Like, and I struggle with this because it's been beaten to our head so much. Like, use all your mana every turn, right?
Yes.
Make sure you're playing an aggressive kind of play that bounces our creature, and then you play yours. But the thing is, in this format, I feel like there's enough tools and enough good stuff going on that prioritizing setting yourself up for success in the future will benefit you.
Yes.
That's one of my takeaways. The other one being, because decks are so good, that you really need to put only cards in your deck that are going to be
good.
Good. You know, that sounds silly, but
only put good cards in your deck.
Is your card a kill spell? Is your card drawing you more cards? Is your card a creature that is better than your average Joe?
Yeah.
Those are the 3 things you need to ask yourself. Removal. Interesting creature is what I wrote, and card draw, so that you can remember IRC. If I recall correctly, I should be drafting interesting creature, removal, and card draw. There you go. Think about that.
Very nice.
Because we're playing sometimes off curve, discipline is important.
Yeah.
Leaving yourself your ability to snakeskin veil yourself.
Oh my goodness. I like snakeskin. I also got recently in the mounts one.
Yeah.
I also felt like I was like, oh, I'm in the right color pairs. I got like the late lifelink griffin. I got and then I just kept getting late snakeskin veils.
Oh yeah.
And then the what's
shield,
the white one?
Take up the shield.
Take up the shield. And I was like, do people not understand that this says single green mana, you win the game?
Yes, it does. That is
the text on snakeskin veil.
Yep. It's not, it's not God's willing, but isn't it?
Isn't it?
Which is another 1 mana win the game card.
It's just so good. Right? They're trying to spend like the number of times people have cast. There's like some breaking news, like the black red removal spell, and it's like, oh, you spent 3 mana.
Or 4 or 5 mana.
4 or 5 mana, and I'm just like,
snakeskin veil. Let me tell you the number of times I've been tempted to play out my 5/5 on turn 5 and just like pass the turn, but I should not.
No, just
hold that snakeskin veil.
And also, if your opponent has a single green or a white and 1, just don't.
Just figure it out.
You need to do something else.
Because they're going to get you.
It's going to be really bad for you.
They're going to get you.
It's about to be bad for you.
Card's great.
Gosh, it's legitimately so good. They're both so good.
They're on our list here of top 10 best commons in the format. So this is based on 17 lands data of game in hand win rate. You draw this card, your chance to win the game. Number 1, this is in green.
Yeah.
Throw from the saddle.
Wow. This is like, you know what? I mean, this card has wrecked me several times, so I'm not surprised.
Absolutely.
1 in a green sorcery. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on it instead if it's a mount. Then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control.
Yeah, it's a blowout.
Have you noticed in recent years how they've moved away? Green used to have fight. And now it's just punch.
This is punch, everybody.
It is now all punch all the time.
You're right. And here's the thing. Sometimes I will be sitting with this in my hand and then I'll remember it's a punch and it's not a fight. And I'm like, oh my God.
You're like, why haven't I used it?
Why am I sitting here?
It's just a punch.
This has a 60.8% game in hand win rate.
That makes sense.
That number is pretty astronomical for a common. Coming in second, this goes with these are both removal spells, consuming ashes.
Yeah. 2 black, instant, exile target creature. If it had mana value 3 or less, surveil 2.
Yeah.
Love the instant speed.
Yep.
As you were talking about, it's very important to be able to use your removal in that little window when they have put their shields down.
Yeah.
And instant speed,
if
obviously.
You see that window.
If that window exists,
take it.
Leap
through that window.
Good luck, high five. Leap through that window.
Don't. But also don't. We're not a medical podcast.
We're not a medical podcast.
We can't relocate your shoulder.
No.
Sorry. Whoa. Have you ever had that thought like, oh, one day I'm going to have to know how to relocate a shoulder?
I have learned how to relocate a shoulder in the wilderness.
Can you, if I knock my shoulder out right now?
Please don't. And like, okay, to be clear, if we were anywhere near a hospital, that's choice number one. Choice number one, hospital/doctor.
I remember because you were training to be a wilderness like help 'em person.
Yes, thank you. That is the official title.
The wilderness help 'em person. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No, I have taken some wilderness first aid training, which does include how to reset a shoulder.
To help 'em.
And it's terrifying.
You come in on the helicopter and you parachute down and you're like, the help 'em squad is
The
here.
help 'em squad is here.
Crack. Okay, great. Good to know. Handy information.
So there you go.
Number 3, take up the shield.
The biggest thing you want to do is try and help them relax the shoulder so that it can get back into place.
God.
It's horrifying.
Oh,
Everything about it is
I hate
horrifying,
it.
and the answer is just don't do it.
But if you must,
anyways.
give them a nice cup of cocoa first.
All right, take up the shield.
1 and a white instant. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Oh, it gains lifelink and indestructible until end of turn.
Absolutely absurd. So good.
Why not?
It's just okay. Indestructible, right? Like rude. +1/+1. Rude.
And it keeps it forever.
I'm sorry. Freaking lifelink for a turn. That is sometimes the biggest part because it just swings that damage race
for sure
immediately.
This card's
turns it right around.
This and Consuming Ashes at the time of recording have the exact same game in hand win rate of 58.7%. So almost close to that 60.8 at the top there. And right up after Take the Shield is Snake Skin Veil.
Yeah.
Single green instant, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Once again, you just get it and it gains hexproof until end of turn.
Wow. What else was there to say?
Card's busted straight up in half. And I knew when they printed it, because I remembered.
Yep.
That
as soon as I knew it was in the format, I was like, well, prepare to get wrecked.
Oh, yeah. And like prepare to at the Pro Tour, I think watch these drafts and see people play as if they have Snakeskin Veil in hand.
Oh, yeah.
If it's in their deck, even if they don't, and see how the opponent reacts to that.
Yeah.
And you got to respect.
It is open deck list, so you know if they drafted one.
Yeah.
But you got to imagine if they draft one, you just spend the whole game being like,
do they have it?
Hell.
Do they have it? Yeah. Coming on 1, 2, 3, 4, number 5, Cactarantula.
Why does this card have a discounted mana cost available to it?
I don't know. It shouldn't.
It's already a 6/5 for 6 that with reach that when it becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card, which is already a great card. But then of course it costs 1 less if you control a desert, which you always do.
And let me tell you, how do you not have to kill this thing?
5 mana.
Give him a card.
5 mana, 6/5 reach. Oh, you killed it. Well, I do get a card.
Ugh, I hate that.
This card is so good. It's like as soon as it's in your hand, you're like, I feel much safer now.
Oh yeah,
I feel pretty good.
This weird cactus spider will protect.
Yes, he protect, he attack.
He attack, and he draw you card when they smack his back.
The rhyme for the ages.
Number 6, this little friend trained Arnix.
Oh, this one's a surprise to me.
Yeah, he good.
But it is good. It is a good card. Yeah.
1 and a white for a 3/1 cat beast mount. Whenever it attack while saddled, it gain first strike until end of turn. Scry 1.
Pretty good.
Saddle 2.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I've been aggroed out. I don't know if people consider aggro good in this format, but I certainly have been aggroed out, and I think this is one of the tools to be able to do so.
Absolutely.
Attacking with 3 power first strike. This scry, great.
Yeah.
I think is good enough early in the game to be able to get through whatever you need to.
Yeah. Next up is Spinewood's Paladin. This card is so good, I never get to draft it because everyone took it already.
And if you looked at this as the beginning of the format, you would be like, what?
No.
This is not going to be top 10 commons.
No, but it's 4 and a green for a 5/4. Well, just because this is already, just by those stats alone, not anything that's been in the top 10 for such a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trample, when it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. Plot for 3 and a green.
Yep.
Great.
Why is this card so good?
It's a big boy.
Is it because
it's a big boy and you gain 3 life and you can essentially cast it on turn 5 for 4 mana the previous turn, right? I feel like that's a big part of it. Is that you can just pay that 4 and then next on turn 5 cast it.
Yeah.
It's just quite good.
Great card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Coming in at 8, this one's gonna really send you, everybody. Creosote Heath. If you're like, what is that?
Very funny.
I'll
It's a
tell you,
land.
it's a land. It's the green-white desert.
Wow.
When was the last time we had a land in our top 10?
I cannot remember.
Me either.
Yeah.
The last time I was this shocked to see a card in our top 10 is when we did that card from that other set.
Oh yeah, not ruin crab.
Not ruin crab, but the other.
Like the investigate crab situation.
Yeah, showing up off the
investigate crab.
list. Shocking.
Yeah. Creosote heat. That's wild.
That's
but deserts
very
are
funny.
so good.
They are.
You play a desert even if it only matches one color.
Yeah,
all the
why
time.
not? You want a crime?
You want a crime. I like if anything
You want
in
a
your deck,
discount for your cactus thing?
exactly. Like
Yeah.
if you want desert situation, you like there's so many good reasons for desert. There's so many good reasons for desert.
Number 9 is Mystical Tether.
Great removal spell.
Fabulous removal. 2 and a white. Enchantment. You may cast it as a flash. Pay 2 more to cast it. When it enters the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield.
Yeah. I mean, once again, I feel like the flash is an important part of it.
Yeah.
Because you can wait until their shields are down
Yeah.
to try and use this.
And get him.
Get them.
Get him. And number 10. Not super exciting, but here we are. Sometimes you need to fix your mana in a format where you're playing more than 2 colors. Patient Naturalist.
2 and a green for a 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. Put a land card from among the milled cards into your hand. If you can't, create a treasure token.
Yeah. It's just great value. It helps you figure out your life as far as mana is concerned, which people need help with in this format from time to time.
Yeah.
And it's a 2/3 for 3.
Great.
You know what I'm surprised is if you would have asked me on preview season what would be in this, I would have told you it would have been Deserts Dew would have been in the top 10.
Absolutely, I would have thought that.
1 in a black, target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn and gets an additional -1/-1 until end of turn for each desert you control. It's an instant. I would have thought this would have made it, but it didn't quite make it.
No, it's a
Green
11?
and white shoving it out. It's number 11.
Green and white, quite powerful.
Yeah. Green and white dominating our top 10 list with only a black card to be the other color that we see. Otherwise, they're all green. They're all white.
Yeah.
So Celestia
right.
proving its might here in Limited. Let's move on to Standard, though, and talk about what's going on there, because those are going to be most of the rounds of the Pro Tour that we see. And just kind of give you an overview, because it's been a hot minute. In fact, I think about a year since we played Standard at the Pro Tour.
Wow, it's been a long time.
Yeah, for sure. What's new? What's different? What are we seeing?
Yeah, all right. Well, we're going to use none other than Frank Karsten's Metagame Mentor article, where he tries to predict Standard at Pro Tour Thunder Junction. If someone's going to try it, why not Frank?
Yeah.
Good at what he do.
He thinks the number 1 deck is going to be Dimir Midrange.
All right. So this is, built around, of course, Deep Cavern Bat. We talk about Bat. We have talked about Bat many times.
He a bat.
He do good job.
This is a 1/1 flying lifelink for 1 in a black. When it enters the battlefield, look at target opponent's hand. You may exile a non-land card from it until Deep Cavern Bat leaves the battlefield. So he hoard, he fly, he gain life.
Yeah, he hoard.
He hoard it.
He fly.
He hoard it. Dimir,
Yeah.
it's demiring.
Next up, he's got Esper Midrange. And this is also just kind of looking at like what's been strong in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so with people playing tournaments at the highest level that we got the past couple of weeks.
Esper Midrange, 4 copies of Deep Cavern Bat.
Gosh.
He bat.
The thing is, like, this bat is like,
The thing is this bat.
we don't have Thoughtseize.
No.
What do we have?
Bat.
This bat.
This bat. This bat, I really like this bat, especially with Rafine. Put more counters on Bat. Make Bat big.
Yeah, Rafine is the name of the game here for Esper, and it has been for a long time in Standard. And this, people are still going to play this great card in this great deck.
Make Bat big.
Make Bat big. The Dimir version is more a little bit focused on Sheoldred, Preacher of the Schism, that 2/4 that with Death Touch that's drawing you cards, Gix, Yawgmoth Predator, whatever. So it's slightly more different. Both can play an aggressive game if they get the right draw, but they're also perfectly capable of playing the long game.
Yeah. So next up, we have a deck called Teamer Analyst.
Interesting.
Which is built around this little uncommon from Murders at Karlov Manor, Aftermath Analyst, 1 and a green for a 1/3 elf detective. When it enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards, 3 and a green, sacrifice it, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So this deck is about like making a lot of mana.
Cool.
You also get World Soul's Rage. This is the card that says X red-green sorcery. It deals X damage to any target. Put up to X land cards from your hand and or graveyard onto the battlefield tapped.
So you just kill him straight up with World Soul's Rage.
Yep. And then also you are playing, like you're playing all of the Cabaretti Courtyards, the Maestro's Theaters, these cards that they come into play, they sacrifice to go get a basic.
Sure.
And so when you do something like Aftermath Analyst or World Soul's Rage, you can just, you do have land cards in your graveyard to do this.
Sick. That deck seems very sweet. I love doing a big splashy thing. Boros Convoke is one that's kind of been on our radar recently as well. That Frank calls out as entering the tournament at number 4. You've played this deck,
I've
Megan.
really enjoyed Boros Convoke, which is weird for me, but here we are.
Yeah.
It's a good time. You're just playing a bunch of little creatures, right? You have Novice Inspector, Voldaire, and Epicure. Notably, those make artifacts, right? One makes a clue, one makes a blood.
Good point.
And that's because you have Gleeful Demolition. This is a single red sorcery, destroy target artifact. If you controlled that artifact, create 3 1/1 red Phyrexian Goblin creature tokens.
Bless.
Guess what? You can play like a Novice Inspector on turn 1, this on turn 2, and have you have 4 power worth of creatures already on the board, and you have 1 more mana available to do something else.
There's War Leader's Call, which is the creatures you control get +1/+1 enchantment in this set too. What are you convoking?
What are you convoking? Oh, you convoke Knight Errant of
Knight
Eos.
Errant of Eos, that's right.
Yeah.
No elephant, but...
No, but Knight Errant is really nice. It's the one that you look at the top 6 cards, and you can get 2 cards with mana value X or less, where X is the number of creatures that convoked it.
Domain Ramp comes in at number 5. This is the deck that I played a bunch with in other formats, but here it is in Standard as well, where you get Atraxa the Grand Unifier to just basically draw you a million cards and have a lot of fun. You play Tompier Stomper to go get a million lands.
Yes. Let me tell you, Archangel of Wrath is a very difficult card for Boros Convoke.
I would think so.
To ever beat.
Yeah.
Basically, you play this and you're like, if Domain Ramp plays Archangel of Wrath, you're like,
okay,
good day.
Up the beanstalk in this deck. This card is busted and it's great.
Banned in Modern.
Legal and Standard. Think I'll play it. I'll go up that beanstalk.
Yes.
Draw cards.
That's how I feel about Treasure Cruises. Legal and Explorer.
Yeah.
So I've been playing the Is It
It's
Phoenix
true.
deck and Explorer sometimes because, do you know what? Drawing 3 cards for a single blue mana doesn't ever not feel incredible. Anyways.
So true. I want to talk about now just a couple of decks. Like that's the top 5 from Frank.
Yes.
But there's other ones that are now kind of rising up from the ether with the release of Thunder Junction that might look to unseat some of these decks that we see at the Pro Tour. I want to call out Mono Red Aggro, which I'm seeing pop up on lists more and more often as doing well in standard challenges, in leagues on Magic Online. So we might perhaps see some Mono Red action.
Yeah.
Monastery Swiftspear is in the format.
Yes, that's always been a good card.
We get the addition of, who is the new one that comes out with this deck? I can't remember. Anyway, we have Fugitive Codebreaker, which came from Murders at Karlov Manor, a little 2/1 Prowess Haste. So once again, Prowess situation happening here. And just basic burn spells like Play with Fire.
Yeah.
Lightning Strike.
Yep.
Monstrous Rage to put on your creature and kill something out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like I'm wondering if this isn't going to be a little fun police that we see at the Pro Tour.
I've also been taking a look at some of the, there's the deck lists on magic.gg, which are the traditional standard lists this is from the week of April 15th. So not quite the new stuff yet, but it's fun because these are just platinum or mythic decks that have gotten 5 wins or more in a row.
Great.
Maybe it's more than that even. Maybe it's like 7. But anyways, how about this? Angels.
I'm here for
Angels.
it.
This is built around, obviously, Giada, Font of Hope. That's 1 and a white for a 2/2 flying vigilance. Each other angel you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each angel you already control. And you can tap it to add white, spend this mana only to cast an angel spell. It's also got, obviously, Inspiring Overseer.
I'm playing it.
Limited All-Star, Archangel of Wrath, who we already mentioned, Aurelia's Vindicator, an excellent card, Steel Seraph, right? Like there's some, just looking at this deck made me realize there are some great angels in Standard right now. Resplendent Angel is in the format.
I love that
and
card.
Aurelia, the Law Above.
Hold on. I need to go play a deck.
Yeah. I was going to say, Maria, like I'm
This
literally
seems
like
sick.
listing a deck that feels right
Wow.
up. It has Invasion of Gobakhan, the Wandering Emperor, and right, like this just seems up your alley.
Hold up. I got to go play a deck, everybody. I'm very excited to see what the pros do with the Standard format when we get to the Pro Tour, because I mean, like I said, we haven't played a Pro Tour level Standard event for about a year, maybe even more.
Yeah.
We have a brand new set that just came out like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
A week ago? Who can say?
Yeah.
It's impossible to tell. But we're entering right at the start of this new format, and Standard is huge right now. It's bigger than it's ever been in its entire lifetime, right? Of it being a thing.
It's cool. Okay, here's another one for you.
Okay.
This is like Bant tokens with Mondrak, Glory, Dominus, which if one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead.
All right.
With cards like Gala Greeters, Sky Strike Officer, Queen Alanal of Ruotic,
I'm listening.
Monastery Mentor, and another doubler of ETB effects, Elish Norn, Mother of Machines.
Can you imagine?
Anyways, just consider that.
Very
Join
fun.
the Dance, which creates 2 1/1 white human creature tokens. This just seems like a very funny and cute, like, this is a cool tokens deck.
Where are you finding these deck lists, Megan, if people want to take a look at these?
Like I said, this is over at magic.gg. If you click at the top on deck lists, like the first stuff at the top is like old PT deck lists, but then you're looking for traditional Standard rank deck lists, and they
great.
have them from the past, you can go way as far back as you want.
Oh, cool.
And like I said, it's just cool because like the aggregators and stuff show you a lot of the same decks, but this shows you like these are decks that have won.
That's cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything can happen, truly, when we get to the Pro Tour this weekend. So I hope you all tune in. Twitch.tv/magic, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Top 8 on Sunday. Draft in the morning, Fridays and Saturdays. Come on by and watch it. It's going to be a great time.
So excited to watch this Outlaws draft.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very, very good to see the pros drafted. I'm so excited.
Me too. We've got some friends competing in the tournament.
Yeah.
Hope they do well.
Shout out if you've been listening for a long time. You know the Pirate Boys.
You do. Amateur Pro Greg's going to be there.
Yeah. And our friend Matt.
Matt Sicking Johnson always does well.
Keep an eye out for him.
So check them out.
Yeah.
And of course, we've got to see if, somebody like Seth can run it back after winning the last Pro Tour.
Simon Nielsen. Will he continue to win despite the fact that it seems like maybe he doesn't want to?
He's like, you guys, I got to finish this degree I'm working on.
Exactly.
I keep winning at Magic, though.
He was like, oh no, maybe I'm going to miss the first draft on day 1 of the last Pro Tour. Wait, never mind. I'm here and I 3-0'd. I'm here and I win 7-1 on day 1 or whatever. Anyways.
We've got some great stories to tell.
Yes.
So stop by, everyone. It's going to be a blast. Well, our friends, Romans, countrymen, thank you for listening to this episode.
Yes.
Of Good Luck High Five.
Thank you again so much to all of our patrons and to, now I already forgot how to pronounce it, Boggart.
Boggart Auntie.
Yogurt.
Yeah.
No, yogurt, Bogart.
Yeah.
Burger.
Burger Auntie. Thank you so much.
I'm going to how to pro now. I'm doing it again.
You already Googled this.
I know, but I don't remember what it told me. Boggart. Thank you again to Boggart Auntie for teaching us how to pronounce that.
If you want a shout out and a pun based on your name, head to patreon.com/GLHF Magic. Make sure to check out our new episode of Commander Arcade at youtube.com/@GLHF Commander. There's links in the show notes to everything that is ease of your clicking fingers.
Yes.
Or touching fingers, I should say, if you're on a phone. Yeah. I'm not going to say that, though, because that's a weird sentence.
Well,
I'm not going to talk about your touching fingers.
You already did. Guess what? You did.
We're going to go chat with our producers right now.
Maria Bartholdi. You already did. You're welcome for that.
Yeah, this is a great slogan for me to have, honestly. See you next week when we break down everything that happened at the Pro Tour.
Bye. Oh wait, we're gonna have Mark Rosewater on.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have Mark Rosewater on. That's
next
a great
episode.
point.
So
Gosh,
get
I
ready
almost
for that.
forgot to tell you all about that.
So get ready for that.
If you're in our Patreon server, put a question in there that you might want to ask Mark.
Yeah.
And we can help you out. And we can maybe ask it to him.
All right. We'll do our best.
Yeah, because he loves to talk about his work. And we're excited to talk to him next episode.
Yeah. And obviously we'll play some Flavor Text Theater with him.
Oh, yeah.
One of his
100%.
favorite games.
He loves that game. Everyone, this is going to be a jam-packed episode next week.